Hi everybody, this is Neil Allen, the synth guitarist, and what I have sitting right here is a Yamaha FB-01 desktop synthesizer. I believe this was released in 1983, and it came out around in the 80s when Yamaha was really firing on all cylinders with its FM synths, spearheaded by the totally iconic DX7. So this is in that family. I'm told that the FB-01 is very similar to the DX100, which is a 4-operator FM synthesizer. Is it the exact sound chip that's in there? I mean, you can find that out if you look it up, but I don't think it's like exactly the same chip. But a lot of these Yamaha sound chips are like so close to each other that they, for all intents and purposes, kind of are the same thing. So I've seen some comments on the FB-01 online, and some of the things I've read and heard are like the thing doesn't have very many usable sounds in it. It sounds kind of bad. So I thought that I would add my own opinion to the mix. Now, just to give you an idea of what this sounds like, I'm going to play, of course, some of the patches on it for you. I can't play everything, of course, but when I get synthesizers, I do big deep dives of them. This is just, here's a notepad, a synthesizer notepad of mine. This is just a single page of the thing. I catalog all the patches if I can, which depending on, some synths are so vast, you can do that, but you don't really want to. But this one, I did go through every single patch, and I wrote down what I thought of the various patches and where they are, because I like to know where all my where everything is on the different tools that I have. So if there's a patch I really like, I want to know how to find it again, because even synths from even a synth like this is pretty vast. There are a lot of sounds in here. So we're gonna go through. I'll show you the first patch, which is harp. And what I've written down here is it's amazing, it's recalling of Mr. Rogers. That's kind of what I got out of it. So let's see what that sounds like. So a really pretty sound. And like, are the sounds usable? The way I see that is it really depends on what you want to get out of a tool like this. Like, what are you expecting from it? For my purposes, like why I got interested in the FB-01 is because I'm a fan of classic video games. So I was looking for that sound from like Japanese personal computers from way back in like the 80s, like the PC-98 and the PC-80, the NEC PC-88 and the Sharp X68000. Now, if you're looking for a sound like that, then this is, I don't think there's a better synth for you to get than this one. Because another thing that's great about the FB-01 is it's cheap. I think I only paid about $150 for this, and there are 4 sound banks. There are 4 banks in here, and each bank has about 48 or so patches on it. So there are a lot of sounds in here, and if you're looking for that sort of classic game FM sound that you could even also find on the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive, then this is definitely, there are better options I know of that I can talk about later for the Mega Drive, but this is one of the best things that you can get for it. Let's go through some more sounds. This patch is Zion. See what it sounds like. Well, I already kind of know. So about unusable sounds, it really depends on what application you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's quote unquote modern sounding, the FB-01 is not going to get you there. But if you're looking for like a really warm, cozy, lo-fi type of sound, then the FB-01 is really, really great for that. And again, it's kind of hard to beat the price. Like a DX100, if you wanted to get that, I mean, it really depends on the condition and the particular deal that you can find. But that's going to run you considerably more expensive than the FB-01. I'm going to look up an EP. Yamaha electric pianos. So, really good sound, but one of the things that I think people might be wondering is how does this compare to the classic DX7, you know? And I do have a TX7 that's sitting right over there in the background. I don't know if you can see it. It's among some other synthesizers. So I have done the apples to apples comparison with the TX7, which is also this more or less, it's the same thing as the DX7. And you know, I will tell you that the FB-01 does not sound as good. But would it really? It's not really a fair comparison because the FB-01's a 4-operator FM synth. The TX7 is a 6-operator FM synth. So that basically means that the TX7 is going to get more complex sounds. There are more layers you can add on to it. There are more layers. The sound has the capability of having more layers. So the FB-01 does not sound as good. However, again, it goes back to that application. Like, what the FB-01 I think is really good at is that nice, cozy, lo-fi sound. Now, you start adding on more layers and you are going to get away from that lo-fi quality somewhat. You could still have an FM quality, but it becomes something different. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, while in a way, yes, the TX7 and the DX7 do sound better than the FB-01, it's like, what kind of sound are you looking for? If you're looking for something that's like lo-fi, then the FB-01 is certainly a better option. Here's a nice patch, strings. So, you know, sounds like this can be thought of to be sort of cheesy today, but, you know, is that necessarily a bad thing? Yes, it's kind of a cheesy synthesizer sound, but that's one of the great things about real synthesizers. You know, they can sound kind of, there can be a sort of cheese quality to it. I'm not talking really so much about, well, yes, even with like the sample, like sample-based synthesizers, you still do get that on many of them. But with this FM stuff, it's like, yeah, you definitely get that quality, and you're either going to be looking for that or not. And if you really don't like that type of thing, then, you know, it's kind of interesting that you would be into FM synthesis at all. So one of the downsides of the FB-01 that some of these other synthesizers, like the DX100, that they do have over it, is you cannot program the FB-01. You can't program it on. You can't program it actually. You would have to get a editor that you have to hook your FB-01 up to your computer with a MIDI interface. Then you can edit it. Then I have not done that actually. So yeah, you can like edit a DX100 or a DX7 right on the DX100 and DX7, but I look at this a different way too. In a certain point of view, editing FM synthesis or programming FM synthesis it's kind of a bit pointless in 2021, which is when I'm making this video. And my thoughts on that are that, first of all, the learning curve of program, and I say this as a person who actually does program FM synth. I mean, I'm not a master at it. There are certainly people that are like way better than me, but I do it. There's a very steep learning curve to that. Like programming FM synthesis is different. It's it's not intuitive. I'll say that. That's the best term I could think of it. And there are so many tracks available on the, or there's so many patches, I mean, available online that it's kind of like, why would you even bother doing that? I mean, I don't want to talk in absolutes, but I do think that this is a perspective. This is true enough that I think it's worth mentioning. What you would want, what you would be looking for is, chances are it's probably already out there online and you can download it easily enough. So even though you can't program the FB-01, it's like there are so many patches available online. What you would want to be looking for, there's a very good chance it's probably out there. If you're a fan of the if you're a fan of like the X68000, this is probably a patch or a sound that you've heard a lot of, piano bells. It even has kind of a Sonic the Hedgehog quality to it, doesn't it? Like Starlight Zone. I don't know that. I don't know how to play that song off the top of my head. It's not... I'd have to go like an octave higher, but... I'm just picking this out on the top of my... I'm just figuring it out here. So there are, if you're like a fan of classic gaming, again, Sega Mega Drive, Sharp X68000, this, and you want access to those sounds, you're not going to do much better. You're not going to get a much better deal. You're not going to get much closer. You might not get any closer at all. This might be as close as you really can get, is the Yamaha FB-01. So about having sounds that aren't usable, again, it depends on what you're looking for. If people are looking for like lo-fi game sounds, or if they just want kind of like a lo-fi, they're just fans of lo-fi FM synthesis, then yeah, the FB-01 I think is right up your alley. It's one of my favorite synthesizers. Another big advantage of the thing is look how compact it is. I have my notepad on top of it, but not very big. A nice compact FM synthesizer, whereas like a DX7, do you have any idea how big that thing is? I mean, that's a thing you're actually going to have to really think about how you're going to store it, potentially, depending on how much space you have. Even the DX100, which is more compact than the DX7 considerably, is still, it still doesn't have anything on the size of the FB-01. So, you know, there are a lot of, so we'll go over the pros of the FB-01 again. It's cheap. I got mine again for $150 or so. it's easy to find. Just go on Reverb. I actually think I bought this one on eBay. I think I found it on eBay and got it. I think there's like one guy in Ohio that's like selling a lot of these things. I think so, because I've seen a lot of his listings, and they're like, you can tell it's the same person, even from site to site on Reverb and on eBay. And it seems like he has like a never-ending stock of FB-01s. I don't know. I think he's like somewhere in Ohio. So they're cheap, they're easy to get, they're easy to... Oh, another good thing about the FB-01 is that you can store a lot of patches on this thing. Like, the big downside to the TX7 and the DX7 is that they just, you can't store that many patches on them at a time. They only take like, what is it, 32, something like that. You would have to store a lot of patches on your computer, hook your DX7 or TX7 up to your computer, and then sysx those patches. Keep having to sysx back and forth. That is going to be kind of annoying. So the FB-01, that's one of the big advantages I found of the FB-01, is just that you can store way more patches on the thing versus a DX7 or a TX7. Here are a couple more sounds. Classic FM brass. I mean, the sounds go on and on. It's got a really nice piano as well. Let's go through that a bit. Playing the key of E major this time. So let's go over a couple more sounds and then I will let you go. The string sound is good. A low string sound, very good too. Okay, let's go over it. Yeah, really big fan of this patch here. So a lot of really good sounds on it, and those are basically, I could go on and on about the FB-01 and synthesizers in general. Synthesizers are one of my great loves in the world, but I don't want to keep you here forever. So I think it's a really good thing to, if this is the type of thing that you're into. Understandable if that's sort of an acquired taste. It's a very dated sound, but dated or not, I think it's this sound, this kind of lo-fi FM sound is just a good sound to me. Doesn't matter if it's 2050, 1980, or whenever, or 2021. So that's all I have to say about the FB-01 for now. Thanks for giving me some of your time, and we'll talk about some more synthesizers in the future. Until then, again, this is Neil Allen, the synth guitarist, and I will see you guys very soon.